today, but here is right now, Mr. 5 minutes to do the next 5 problems. And then Mr. Vincent, can you do me a favor? Call on 5 volunteers to do, I think we are on number 21 in this class. So call on a volunteer to come to the board, do 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. And go ahead and actually pause this YouTube video for 5 minutes while they go, or pause the video while they go ahead and do that. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to continue this lesson on exponents, finish it up, and then give you some time to work on it. You should be able to finish the homework, give it to Mr. Vincent before you take off so you don't have anything to work on this weekend. After that, you need to finish the factoring warm-up. We will talk about it on Tuesday and then have our first skill quiz on Thursday. I will also let you know we are looking at the possibility of our first test being on Thursday of next week as well. But let's take a look at some exponent properties, and then let's give you some time to work on your homework. So the last properties of exponents. Properties of exponents, here's what you got to do. So let's say we've got some fraction, x squared, and we raise the entire thing to the 3rd power. What does that mean? We've got x squared times x squared times x squared. Well, how many of those do we have? Some number squared, some number squared, some number squared. That means we got x to the 6th. Notice the pattern. What do we do with these 2 numbers to get that? We multiply them. So what is our rule for that? Let's stop. What is our rule for that? So let's say we've got x to the a power all raised to the b power. What do we do with that? That's equal to x to the a times b power. Okay, let's take a look at some easy examples. Let's take a look at some hard examples, then we'll go through there. Let's take a look at one specific example. Let's just say you got x to the a power all raised to the negative b power. So we would still multiply them just like we did before. But because it's negative, that means it's on the wrong side. So remember, we got to put that in the denominator. What goes in the numerator when there's nothing left? Just a 1. That's going to be a key property that we come back with today. Let's take a look at a couple examples. Let's go first. Let's go for example number 1 today. Let's take a peek at, why don't we go for this? Why don't we go for this? Let's go for 2x to the 4th y squared, all raised to the 3rd power. Now you ask yourself, now, wait a minute, there was only 1 thing up here, but now there's 3 things in here. Here's what we got to do. We got to raise each one of these to the 3rd power. So that's equal to 2 to the 3rd power times x to the 4th to the 3rd power times y squared to the 3rd power. What does that mean, or what's that do? Let's take a peek. Well, 2 to the 3rd is 2 times 2 times 2. That's 8. Multiply. Multiply. Anything we can simplify? No, we can't. Mr. Vincent, again, sir, I'll give him a problem. Can you give him a couple minutes to work it and see what we got here? Let's say we got 6x to the 4th, a to the 3rd, b to the negative 6, all squared. If you could give him 1 minute to work on that, and then go ahead and play the video, and I will take him through it. All right, let's take a peek at what we do. So we raise each one of those to the 2nd power. So that gives us 6 squared times x to the 4th squared times a to the 3rd squared times b to the negative 6 squared. 6 squared, 6 times 6, 36. X to the 8th, a to the 6th, b to the negative 12. Can we leave it like that? Nope, can't leave with no exponents at the end, so we need to move this b down. 36x to the 8th, a to the 6th, all over b to the 12th. Okay. How's that one? Bad, not bad? Well, let's do as bad as it gets. Let's just do terrible, terrible, terrible. Let's review one last property of exponents. One last property. What if you have a fraction, a over b? And this time we raise it to the negative x power. How do we get rid of that negative? Well, that negative power is going to apply to both the top and the bottom. That same distribution, x, a to the negative x, b to the negative x. Now, because they're both negative, we need to move them to the other side. We need to move both, so that ends up with b to the x over a to the x. All right, stop and check out. Questions on that? Questions on that? All right, let's go for it. Bad as it's going to get. In fact, let's call on somebody. In 7th period, let's call on, who should we call on for this one? Let's call on, oh, no, let's not. Let's just do really hard. Example 3. Take a look. Let's go 4. Let's go x to the 6th, the y to the 3rd, all over 16. X to the 3rd, y to the negative 4. And then look at this disaster. We're going to raise the whole thing to the negative 2 power. Holy math. Holy, holy math. This is the kind of problem where you just think, no, you think we're going to do this problem. So here's what we're going to do. Because it's a negative exponent, that means we flip both the top and the bottom. So when you're working on your homework tonight, you're going to ask yourself, what do I do with the negative exponent there? That flips the top and the bottom. Takes the reciprocal of it. So that's going to give us 16x to the 3rd. Y to the negative, nope, negative 4th. Yeah, it stays negative because we just take the whole thing and move it. We'll deal with that negative first. And then we get 4. Okay. Makes it squared. Now, I'm going to look to do a little simplifying in here before I square it. I got 16 over 4. I can cancel out a 4 out of each. That's just going to give me a 4. Okay, I got x to the 3rd, x to the 6th. So x to the 3rd, x to the 6th. We can cancel out 3 of them. That's going to leave 3 on the bottom. Okay, now here's the deal. We've got 4 of these that are negative. So we're going to take negative 4 minus 3. That gives us y to the negative 7. Where's that going to go, in the top or the bottom? The top or the bottom? It's because it's negative. It's going to go on the bottom. Or we could think we're going to move this y to the 4th down there. Look at that again. Move this y to the negative 4th down there. Don't forget, we got to square it. That's our last step here. Then we square everything. 4 squared is 16. X to the 3rd squared is 6. Y to the 7th squared is 14. There we go. And Mr. Vincent, I let that go off the screen for a second. Can you pause that puppy for me there? All right, so here's what I'd like. Now I want to give you one more example. Mr. Vincent, again, can you pause it, sir? And then call somebody to come up and do it on the big board. And then Mr. Vincent, here's what I'd like for the end of the class. Make sure they've got their worksheets already. If anybody was gone, I got some extra copies for you there. If you could then take that and have everybody finish the entire thing. When they're done, they can turn it in to you. If they work hard but they don't finish, they can turn it in on Tuesday. And then when they're done with that, finish up their factoring warm-up. But let's take a look at this last example. Again, Mr. Vincent, have somebody do it on the board after this. Let's go for this. Let's go for 7x y to the 4th, a to the 3rd, all over 21. X to the 4th, y to the 7th, a to the negative 5th, b to the 4th, and the entire thing to the negative 3 power. Oh, math. Oh, boy. Okay, so that's it for class today on my side. Mr. Vincent, again, have somebody come to the board and do this one. Again, remember, we got to deal with this negative 3 first. That's going to end up flipping the top and the bottom. Then we're going to cancel out what's inside. Then we're going to cube every single little thing that's left over. Mr. Vincent, thank you very much for coming today. Guys, I hope you have a great day. I will see you on Monday. I'm at the debate tournament today. Roll Thunder.